What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, the Ace, back in the place. This is the Takedown featuring the Ace. You know, my second episode. Cold day in Buffalo. So yes, I got my jacket on today, trying to keep warm, you know, as I do this video. So, I mean, I'm in my apartment, but, you know, the heat ain't really, you know, vibing with me right now. So I just got, you know what I mean, I just got the coat on, whatever like that. It's not that bad, but, you know, it is what it is. I take it for what it is. But yeah, so, you know, a lot's been going on in the wrestling world. You know, the wrestling world keeps on going, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's been a long time since I did a video. Like the last video I did, I was talking about, you know, the Swerve not winning the Continental Classic. So this video, I wanted to talk about Mercedes Mone, aka Sasha Banks, making her long-awaited return back to the wrestling world in the States. You know, previously she was in New Japan, but now she's in the States. There was a bidding war for her. You know, obviously, you know, everybody thought she was gonna go to WWE, including myself. I was one of those people that was thinking like, man, she probably gonna go back. You know, her and Bayley go. You know, Bayley's won WrestleMania. I mean, she's won the Royal Rumbles, going to WrestleMania. It's, you know, her versus Damage Control and stuff like that. And, you know what I mean, are they gonna have just Bayley? You know, it's gonna be Bayley versus all the Damage Control type of thing. Something like that. It's gonna be like, you know, fight Bayley, fight. You know how it used to be, or is, you know, Sasha Banks? Could you see Sasha Banks coming back to the WWE to help Bayley win the title? You know, fight off Damage Control. That's something I thought was gonna happen, but obviously that's not the case. You know, she signed with AEW, and heard it was lucrative. Heard the deal was very good. You know, she got a nice payday for her services to be in AEW and stuff like that. So now they call herself, she's known as Mercedes Mone, and the CEO. You know what I mean? So that's what she go by now. And, you know, like I said, my first reactions was like I said, I had to see it to believe it. You know what I mean? Like, because there's so many different rumors that go around and on the internet and social media and stuff about that, about where she's gonna go, where she's gonna end up. A lot of people were saying she was gonna sign with AEW and stuff. And like I said, I was still kind of like thinking like, man, she gonna come back Royal Rumble. You know, I was like, if she don't come back Royal Rumble, she will come back WrestleMania or after WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So I'm like, somewhere around there, she's gonna come back. You know, so that was my personal opinion. But you see, it was totally different. You know what I mean? She signed with AEW. So, like I said, AEW had a show around it called Big Business. You know, there was a lot of hype, there was a lot of buzz about the show. You know, and it was a good show. You know, and it was a really good show. You know, Samoa Joe had his match against Wardlow for the AEW title and stuff like that. So you had a lot going on in that episode, you know, and it was a sold out show. It was in Boston, where Sasha Banks is from and Mercedes Mone is from. So, you know, that could be kind of, that's good. You know what I mean? I don't want to say nothing negative about that. Like, oh, you know, you're going back to your hometown, so you got to get a pop for that. But, you know, every time WWE has an event and it's in Chicago, I mean, now that CM Punk has signed back with WWE, you know, right now he's injured, and so he's recovering from his torn pec, I believe it was his torn pec or whatever. So next time you see him on TV, or, you know, there's an announcement, something like that, they're in Chicago, it's who he promoting? CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? That's what AEW was doing for the longest. I mean, for the time that CM Punk was there. Like, when CM Punk returned to wrestling, where was he at? In Chicago. When he was having all these different, it was in Chicago. Like, he had a lot of events in Chicago for CM Punk. But also, too, you got to remember, too, like, Chicago is a good wrestling town. So, not even if CM Punk was going to be there or not, like, so Chicago usually turns out. So, that's that. But Boston, honestly, I don't know if Boston is a great wrestling city or stuff like that, but, you know, it's her hometown, and a lot of people showed up to see that, to see if she was going to show up, and she did. So she made her self known, and cut a promo and did all this other stuff like that, and you got to give Tony Khan some props for this. A lot of people, since AEW's birth, since AEW's been born, 2019, it'd be the new company, to be the new kid on the block. AEW always, has faced a lot of criticism since being around, and there's a lot of people that it's the war between AEW and WWE and all this other stuff like that, and fans are fans are gonna be fans and stuff like that, and we're gonna be divided on who's, are you more WWE, are you AEW, da 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 da, and stuff like that. But I feel like Tony Khan should be given a little bit more credit for what he's done recently with the company, and really kind of turning the page with the CM Punk situation, turning the page with Cody Rhodes, turning the page with Jay Cargill, Jack Perry, Sean Spears, what's the dude named? The dude Lexus King. I forgot his real name, but Lexus King was a former AEW star. So you had a lot of people walk away, QT Marshall, and you had a lot of changes happening in the company and stuff like that. And a lot of people, a lot of fans, especially people that don't like Tony Khan, the people that don't like AEW, were like, oh man, this is, the company's going down, this, that, and the third, or whatever like that. When he lost Jay Cargill, when he lost Cody, when he lost CM Punk, they was like, oh man, it's over for the company. The company's not going to last. They managed to ride that wave, ride the ship. MJF held it down before he got hurt. MJF, he a free agent, so we don't know what's going on with him. But you had MJF hold it down. You had all these, people that kind of you had to step up. You know what I mean? So that's why I was saying, in the past, well, when Jay left, when Cody left, when Punk left, it was like, this is just an opportunity for the people that are there to step up and be and take the reins and kind of get their shine on, so they could possibly get their payday at some point, whatever like that. So a lot of people be like, oh, AEW has this big roster, this inflated roster, they're not gonna make it, they're not gonna this and the third. So when people leave, they be like, oh, it's over for the company, but you got a big roster. You know what I'm saying? So now they added, recently, Will Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes Mone. They signed 3, legends. Not even gonna say legends, but Will Ospreay is kind of seems like he's a legend. Okada is the Rainmaker. He's big time. You know what I'm saying? Mercedes Mone, we already know where she come from. We already know what she's done, what she's able to do. So once we seen her in WWE, for them years that she was there. So, we know, let's say they signed 3. So you lost Punk, Cody, Mercedes Mone. In return, you get Jay Cargill. In return, you get Mercedes Mone, Okada, Will Ospreay. I'm like, that's not a bad deal. I think I'll take that deal any day of the week. Another thing they was talk about, is this similar to Kurt Angle, when Kurt Angle signed to TNA? Can you compare the two between Mercedes Mone signing with AEW and Kurt Angle signing with TNA? At that time, I feel like Kurt was a bigger signing for TNA than Mercedes Mone is a signing for AEW. And that's no disrespect to Mercedes Mone, not saying that she's not big time, but I feel like Kurt, who was really kind of in his prime, you know what I'm saying, in WWE, he was in his prime. Even he talked about it. He said when he left and he went to TNA, he was kind of when he was early on, he was still learning and stuff like that, but he was a good wrestler, but he wasn't as good as he was until later on in his career. You know what I'm saying? Once he got a little bit more reps in, when he started to get a little bit more, he started to really get into it, start, you know what I mean? So when he went to TNA, that was kind of like, he was saying that was like probably like my best version, you know what I'm saying, of Kurt Angle as far as like in the ring and stuff like that, because I've learned so much, you know, while I was in WWE. Then when I went to there, you know, it was totally different. You know, it's a totally different story. But it's like, yo, I'm taking all this experience I have from here, going here. Now I'm kind of like, and I'm getting, you know, you get older in age. I feel like once you in the wrestling, once you get about like 30, you're in your 30s, 40s or somewhere around there, that's when you kind of like really start to really get your mojo going in wrestling. Especially like when you get older, you're gonna be like, yo, I've been doing this since I was like 20. You know, so now the time you're 40, you got like 20 years in the game. I already know what I'm doing. But Kurt was like, what, 6, 7 years in WWE? Left. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, like he wasn't in WWE that long before he left. He was in WWE for like maybe like 6, 7 years or something like that. Got fired, got released because, you know, his drug problem, whatever like that. Signed to TNA. Still had the drug problem and stuff like that, but it's kind of like, you know, eventually, you know, he did get clean and stuff like that. But he had a lot of classic matches, and he did a lot for that brand at that time in TNA while he was there. What, you know what I'm saying? Why he had, you know, matches with Sting, you know, matches with AJ Styles, the young AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, you know, obviously the Main Event Mafia and all this other stuff like that, like Abyss. I think RVD was there, Christian Cage, a lot of people, pretty much a lot of people. I just, you know, first of all, I want to bring this up real quick. I know this has been brought up before, but it's funny how like a lot of people from WWE that went to TNA went to AEW. You know what I'm saying? Like Matt Hardy was in WWE, TNA, AEW. Jeff Hardy was in WWE, TNA, AEW. Christian, boom, boom, boom. RVD, boom, boom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's funny. Like, I mean, that's hilarious. Sting. No, wait a minute. Yeah, Sting. My bad. Yep, Sting. That is right. But Sting was WCW, WWE at one point, TNA, AEW. You know what I'm saying? So that's funny. Like, wow, that's like, I just thought about that. You know, I just thought about that. Like, damn, that's crazy. Samoa Joe, another one. WWE, TNA, AEW. So yeah, you got a lot of cats. That, you know, done. You know, the made the rounds. But like I was saying, I don't think Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone is on that level compared to like a Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? Like Kurt Angle to me is like, and that's my favorite wrestler. Kurt Angle is like, you know, you know, and then like I said, there's no disrespect to Mercedes Mone, but I don't think she's really like at that level of a character, you know what I'm saying, to be like, you go change this show around, you go change the ratings. She might. It's still early. I heard the show did good on ratings for big business. I think they did like 800,000. Like I said, sold out show, everything like that. You know what I mean? She's gonna be on pay-per-views and stuff like that. They got her on the card for All In. You know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of female talent on AEW for her to kind of like have feuds with. She already look like she's getting into it with Julia Hart and Sky Blue. You know, could she compete for the TBS title off rip? I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's a possibility. But like I said, man, they got a lot of talent. And that's another thing too. I want to get on with Tony Khan. With a lot of people in the beginning, you know, AEW in the beginning didn't really have that much female talent. They had some, but they didn't have like a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like WWE has, you know, their main roster in the NXT. They got so many women over there. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? They could, like I said, they could have their own women federation. You know, own women's like wrestling company. You know what I'm saying? Because they got so many right now. TNA wrestling has always been looked at as one of the best rosters for women wrestling, period. You know, that's their one bright spot with TNA wrestling. It's like, yo, our women's division is top tier. I don't know too much about any New Japan Pro Wrestling. and there's other wrestling companies, and I'm saying, I mean, there's NWA, Power, whatever like that. That's still going on and stuff like that. And there's some women there, but you know, there's MLW. There's all these other different companies and stuff like that. But as far as like the main ones, you know what I mean? The main ones that been on TV and stuff like that, WWE got a plethora of women. TNA got their roster, you know, their women's division. And AEW women's division has grown since the company's been born, or whatever. So now I feel like AEW has way more women now, and I feel like they'll be given more opportunities on TV. And I feel like a lot of people don't really recognize that. You know, a lot of people won't. A lot of people probably really, honestly, will not recognize that. Will not give it. Like, hey, you see, the women are getting more time on TV. The women are getting more promo time. The women are doing this. The women are doing that. You know, when somebody calls it out, then it's a big issue. You know, people are gonna like pay attention to that. Like, oh, yo, you see Britt Baker tweet. You see this. You see this. You see that. You see these reports and stuff like that. You hear things in the back in the locker room and this and the third. But once you see the products, like they're kind of like, okay, you know, granted, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we need this. We need to do better. So once he starts to do better, you don't really hear people say nothing like that. Yo, let me give AEW props. They're doing a little bit better with the women's division. Not, you know, you ain't gonna see that from a lot of people. But I'm saying, like, listen, Tony Khan, I feel like, yo, I gotta give my man some props. The women's division is doing a lot better. You know, you see, you got the ROH, and you got AEW. So you got two companies, basically, like I said, like this. If you look at it like WWE, you got Dynamite, the Collision. That's Raw, SmackDown, and Rampage. I feel like Rampage and Dynamite is all one thing. So that's Raw, Collision is SmackDown, and ROH is NXT. ROH has Athena and all the women that's over there, and AEW has Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo and all these other women and Julia Hart, like I said, all of them over here. The women have been given more opportunities. You see, a great match that had a while ago with Athena versus Nyla Rose for the ROH women's title. That was a great match. You had just recently you had like Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart and Sky Blue. You know, Sky Blue has been given hella opportunities. Been on TV a lot. Red Velvet's back. You know, she had an injury before, but she's back. You got the ROH tournament for the women's TV title, so you got that going on. You got Thunder Rosa came back. You know, they signed Deonna Purrazzo. You know, so you still got Britt Baker on the sidelines, kind of like chilling right now. You still got Jamie Hayter. Like I said, she's coming back soon. Toni Storm's been killing it. Toni Storm got her protege Mariah May. You got Kiera Hogan. You still got her there. You got so many different, you know what I'm saying, so many different women. Now they're starting to get a little bit more time on TV. And a lot of, you know what I'm saying, I feel like you got to give Tony Khan his props for recognizing, like, okay, you know, let me put these women on TV. Because he do got a lot of men. He probably got more men on his roster than he do women. But the women it's a big enough roster of women for you to kind of like spread the wealth. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, like Toni Storm to me is like the biggest star, woman star they got right now. So I mean, as far as like Britt Baker, you know what I mean, like she's been killing it with the Toni Storm, you know, character. So like I said, like Mercedes Mone has so many different women she can wrestle, so many different women she can, you know what I mean, either team up with or feud with or this and the third. And you know, like I said, my top 10 women I like to see her kind of go up against, why, you know, time in AEW. Like I said, Britt Baker, DMD, that's number one for me. I like to see that at All In. Athena, aka Ember Moon, former WWE girl. Toni Storm, former WWE girl. Like I said, there's a lot of former WWE women there. That's it. Britt Baker, Athena, Toni Storm, Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander. I say Thunder Rosa. Hikaru Shida. That's my 10. So let me go over it one more time because I said it. I ain't got it written down, so I got to repeat it again. So I'll make sure I get it right. Britt Baker, DMD. Athena. Toni Storm. Nyla Rose. Julia Hart. Thunder Rosa. Hikaru Shida. Sky Blue. I messed. Damn, I should have written that. I did write it down. I wrote it down on my phone or something like that. But forget it. But you already know. Like I said, the women, the roster, they got who they got. So, like I said, that's my 10. That's my 10. Like I said, let me do it one more time. Because I messed up. I messed up. Tony, Britt Baker, Athena, Toni Storm, Nyla Rose, Willow Nightingale, Athena, Thunder Rosa, Julia Hart, Hikaru Shida, and Rio. I was gonna say Rio. I forgot. I know I messed it up or whatever like that. But skip this part. So we get to this part. Skip this part. But yeah. So that's my picks, whatever like that. But overall, like I said, man, it's a good signing. I mean, they signed Edge not that long ago. You know what I mean? And I feel like Edge. Listen, Edge isn't what I thought. Like when he signed Edge, I thought Edge was gonna take that company. I thought he was gonna be like, okay, this is gonna be a replacement for Punk. But Edge ain't CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? Like Edge, like CM Punk was by far AEW's biggest acquisition. CM Punk was the biggest acquisition they had. CM Punk was such a superstar. Like I said, we ain't see this dude in 9 years. 9 years or something like that. We ain't see him. Everybody's been calling him CM Punk. We haven't seen this dude on TV in 9 years. He might have been on little appearances here and there and stuff like that, but we ain't really see him like on a consistent wrestling, doing anything. We ain't heard nothing about him wrestling and nothing like that for 9 years. CM Punk signed with AEW, big payday. He was the man. Like he really was the biggest signing for that company. It's like him, Moxley, Jericho, Sting. So you probably throw Mercedes Mone in there in that mix. Probably like the top 10 biggest signings at AEW and stuff like that. But CM Punk number one. CM Punk impact for that company is good, bad, whatever, indifferent, was the biggest signing that he had, the biggest impact on that company by far. If he was still there, who knows the direction of what this company would be at? Who knows? But, he not there. So now you got, like I said, now you kind of got to, go back to the drawing board and figure out how you going to do it. But Mercedes Mone is not a bad pick. She's not a bad pick. So she could be there for a while, and there's talks about her coming back to WWE. And listen, everybody that came back to WWE is people that we thought once ago come back. CM Punk is the biggest one. CM Punk, we never thought CM Punk was coming back. As bad as we wanted CM Punk to come back, we was like, man, it might not happen. It's too much. It might be too much bad blood there. But that worked out. And WWE is, like I said, Kurt, when he got fired from WWE, went to TNA, he thought the window was closed for him coming back to WWE. He came back. Cody came back. Cody started a new company. Cody helped start AEW. He helped start the rival, your rival company. It was there for 3 years. For the first 3 years. Left. Went back to WWE. Biggest superstar in the wrestling business right now. By far. Biggest wrestling superstar right now. Cody Rhodes is nobody else bigger than him right now. Who else? Jade Cargill, had her time in AEW, homegrown. She even auditioned for WWE a long time ago. They said they didn't want her. Went to AEW, built herself up. You know what I'm saying? Was the longest TBS Women's Champion. Undefeated. Like I think she was like 50-0, 60-0, something like that, until she lost to Chris Statlander. She lost twice. Lost twice to Chris Statlander. Went to WWE. Was one of the biggest moments in wrestling business, in the wrestling time. This what last year when she came to the WWE. It was everywhere on every news outlet. Jade Cargill. It was everywhere. Never seen that before in my life. Never seen that before. So this right here, like I said, we just got to see what happens. We just got to see what happens right now with Mercedes Mone. But like I said, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm happy for AEW. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, right now this is pay-per-view season for them. You just had Revolution. We retired Sting. You just like I said, now they got the ROH pay-per-view April 5th, the Supercard of Honor. You got that going on in Philly around the same time as WrestleMania, so that's gonna be dope. You just added another pay-per-view in AEW Dynasty, so you're already getting the matches created for that. I know one of the ones that's being talked about is Will Ospreay versus Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. So you got so quite for sure Mercedes Mone is gonna get a match in that, but like I said, right now from now to the end of the year, it's just nothing but AEW pay-per-views and events and this, that, and the third. And like I said, you got All In. Hopefully, I would love to see Mercedes Mone in All In, and I do want to see her versus Britt Baker or even her versus Thunder Rosa. But Britt Baker is my top pick. So when she comes back, we go see. But like I said, this is the Ace. This is the Takedown. Y'all be easy.